So good to see you all exactly on time. Good evening, Vanna. Good evening. All right, so excited. All of you are joining in. Just message your friends, your classmates to join in. We've started and we'll just begin in another minute. Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing today? Just type in the chat for us. How are you all doing? Good, great to see you all here. So we are going to be discussing about unlocking global opportunities and exploring the management degrees with international pathways today. We have Dr. Shalini, Mr. Prayag here, and we are going to be having lots and lots of discussion on management as a career, going in depth about the international pathway programs which the university has to offer. So we'll just begin with the introductions. Ojasvi, over to you, and then we'll quickly pitch in and discuss all the informative discussion on management and international pathways. Over to you, Ojasvi.
Right. Thank you so much, Soumya. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And like we said, if there's a friend or a classmate you would like to remind that we are starting the session, please let them know. I would like to thank our guests for joining us today, our panelists for being here to help our students understand management degrees better and the international pathway programs like Soumya has mentioned. We have KEDGE Business School and Jagdish State School of Management with Vijaybhoomi University with us, who will be able to tell you a little bit more about when we talk about opening global opportunities for ourselves, right? When we talk about going to global levels, picking up degrees or going into programs which offer an opportunity and exposure to look for global level of exposure as well, right? So based on that, for further discussion about the same, today we have with us Mr. Prayag, who is the official representative and office bearer of KEDGE Business School in South Asia with an office in India. He's also an alumnus of KEDGE and specializes in B2B, B2C development activities for KEDGE in the region. We welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you so much for coming up with this discussion and enriching us with this knowledge. Thank you. We also have Dr. Shalini with us. Dr. Shalini is the Dean of Jagdish State School of Management, Vijaybhoomi University. She's an academician, author, and institution builder with more than 18 years of experience in leading business schools. Dr. Shalini is a learner forever and has participated in several conferences, workshops, like case teaching and writing workshops at Ivy Business Schools, negotiating and leadership workshops at Harvard Law School. Dr. Shalini has diverse teaching experience in the communications and management area at schools of repute, including international schools. Dr. Shalini has co-authored 9 books with reputed publishers, and in addition to that, several interdisciplinary case studies and research papers as well. We welcome you, Dr. Shalini. Thank you so much for joining us today. We also have Ms. Soumya with us from Mindler, who is a senior career coach at Mindler, and she has her background and her master's degree in psychology from University of Delhi. Thank you, Soumya. Over to you, Soumya, and to our guests. I'd like you to take forward. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Jasvi, for lovely introductions, and we welcome both the panelists today. So coming on to the first question of management as a career, before we discuss it, audience, what do you think? How would you define management as a career? What are your thoughts on it? So just type in the chat for us. What do you suggest management, when we define management, what comes to your mind when we think about management as a career? Yes, it can be something that you've managed in school. It can be something that you have managed an event. Okay, so Urvashi says managing the resources and capital of an organization. Very interesting, Urvashi. Very insightful, like resources and capital as the focus. Akshara, planning the process. Wow, very interesting. All right, so Mr. Prayag, I propose this question to you, that can you enlighten us and define management, as you've been an insider in the business school as well. So what's your perspective on how management is as a career?
Right. Thank you so much, Soumya, and thanks to Jasvi for the introduction. Thank you, Mindler, for organizing this. And thank you, Dr. Shalini, for having us. So first of all, hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be talking to everybody. Would just talk about management as a career opportunity. So first of all, we need to understand what is management. Management, as the name says, is managing something. So what do you actually manage in this domain? It could be people management, could be managing teams, could be managing work, could be project management or product management, or somebody, as somebody mentioned in the chat, managing finances as well. So basically, it's a lucrative career that involves multi-level functions and domains across sectors, which require managing people from teams to work to project and product. Now, how do you identify the right career track or career path in management? Now, there was a study by Statista organization recently. It's a leading stats organization that said 69% of CEOs in the United States had an MBA background, right? And close to 80% of the people in the senior leadership positions, they had some sort of management degree. Could be a BBA, could be MBA, could be MIB. But the key part is most of the CEOs across the globe today, they have a management degree, which does not really only mean that you need to have a management background to succeed, yet having a management background can definitely raise your chances of success. That's number one. Number two, Fortune 500. I'm sure a lot of people would have heard of Fortune 500 companies. These are some of the most valued companies in the world. 41% of their CEOs have an MBA background, which again means MBA can be a key to success. Now, I'm not saying it's the only way to success, but can be a crucial part to your success story. There was Oracle CEO, I was watching that interview recently, and she said, I don't think an MBA is a must, but for me, I can confidently say that without it, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's the impact of having a management background. Could be a BBA, could be an MBA, and today we would be exploring international programs as well. Just to give you a little more data on it, close to 200,000 people take CAT every year. I'm sure a lot of people already know what is CAT, right? So it's the entrance exam to India's most premium business schools. Now, out of those 200,000 people, close to 10,000 people make it to the top business schools in country. And at the same time, close to 200,000 people are studying MBA across the globe, right? This is the kind of impact MBA has had, or BBA has had, over students globally. I was also looking at the report that said in 2020, close to 80% of the top 100 companies in the US hired MBA graduates, 80%. But a year later in 2022, it was 91%. So if you see regarding the career opportunities as well, a lot of companies are preferring graduates who have certain level of management education. So overall, in summary, I would rather say if you're looking for a better, I would say, job in terms of multiple options across functions, roles, domains, and also locations, management could be a great career opportunity for you. It offers you diversity. It offers you a better lifestyle. It offers you freedom to choose the right job for yourself and across the right location as well. So this is for me, I think management and career opportunities in terms of management.
Mr. Rag, I think it's very interesting the way you've shared in the statistics and insights, specifically of Fortune 500 and US as a background, and even India's CAT exam, which is very famous. Lakhs of students give it. So the idea is that somewhere management as an education is very lucrative and also very helpful when we are coming into the corporate and the industry. So it is kind of giving us a standing, and it is also giving us the exact knowledge and practical experience that is required to work in the industry in a more effective manner, right? So, Mr. Prag, this is a very, very common confusion that we all, and I think all the students faces, foreign versus Indian education. So somehow we feel that, shall we target India? Shall we target foreign universities? Is there a thing that a foreign degree is better than an Indian university? So what's your opinion on that? How would we take on to this dilemma of foreign versus Indian education?
Absolutely. It's a wonderful question, because not just the students, but the parents as well, they're always confused. Should they study in India or should they study abroad? What about the job opportunities, so on and so forth? So I'll start with your second question, where you said whether foreign universities offer better degrees compared to India. I don't think so, because every university specializes in a certain domain, right? Nobody can vouch that Harvard University in the US would be the right university for somebody who wants to work in South India or South of Asia or Western Asia, right? So you have specialized schools and specialized geographies. Now, to come to the point, foreign versus India. Now, I'll start with a very simple analogy, and that is, where do you want to work? Where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line? You need to have that goal, have that path in your mind. Now, simply, if you want to work in India, let's say for next 5 years, which is your immediate job plan, it's obvious that you should study in India, right? Now, if you want to work abroad immediately after your degree, it's but obvious that you should be studying abroad. Now, when it comes to abroad, there are close to 200 countries, right? You can be studying in Nepal, you can be studying in Bangladesh, you can be studying in Europe. It depends, where do you identify your career opportunities? Now, how do you choose that? First of all, you'd be looking at rankings. So when it comes to rankings, you should be looking at the top ranked universities across the globe. There are various platforms these days. That's number one. Number two, you need to look at the reputation of the universities, not just the rankings. So let's say if a university is ranked well, whether it's reputed enough as well. Number three, you should be looking at the faculty of the university, right? Are they having enough research background? Do they have PhDs? What is the level of their education? How many papers they have published? You was recently talking about Dr. Shalini, and I was really impressed by her resume, what kind of profile she has. So you're looking at that kind of faculty as well. Then it comes to diversity. You don't want to study in a class where if there are 100 students, all of them are from India, right? If you're talking about abroad, because there's no diversity in the classroom, right? So you should also be looking at a school or a country where you have a lot of diversity in the classroom. And that's how you can probably finalize the right schools for yourself. Then finally, it comes to life abroad, right? Now, if I want to study, let's say in France, where KEDGE is, would you be considering your next 5 years or probably 10 years in France as an international citizen? Are you affiliated, or are you inclined towards the French culture? How much do you know about the French culture, the French corporate scenario, or probably the French language, right? French food. You should be affiliated with that as well. Your affinity basically helps you decide the right country and right program for yourself. Then, of course, opportunity to come back. Now, when you go abroad, it does not mean that you're going to not come back. You can go abroad, study abroad, and still be able to come back to India and contribute in India's growth. You see, there are close to 1,500 French companies operating in India today. There's Louis Vuitton, there is Christian Dior, there is Renault, there is Citroën, there is Capgemini, so many companies there. So let's say if you want to study in India and work in India, it's absolutely wonderful. You can go ahead and do that. But studying abroad just gives you more opportunities in terms of exposure, skills, diversity, wider curriculum, and still be able to come back to India and work here. Later on in this discussion, we'll also talk about job opportunities abroad. So I think this is a very simple differentiation between studying abroad and studying in India.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bragg. I think that's very, very helpful for all the students here, because it's not just about one thing being better. What's the right fit for me as a student? Am I looking to continue my job in India or my life in India further? Or am I looking to settle outside? And there are so many factors in terms of exposure, diversity, faculty. We got to look into so many nitty-gritties when we are choosing a university, because we are investing years. So after our school, we are investing years into our training further. So that's something that we need to make a very wise choice once we are going going and studying in those universities. Dr. Shalini, I would really like your inputs, because as our topic is about management with international pathway programs, so all of us are curious as to what do we mean by international pathway programs, because right now we're just kind of dissecting that either you choose Indian or you choose a foreign university. But I think there's a very interesting curriculum that the Indian university like Vijaybhoomi University has come up, and KEDGE Business School, which kind of gives us the flavor of both. So if you can just elaborate more about the programs for the audience.
Sure. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting us, Prayag. I think you did a very good start, good context. Thanks so much. And welcome all the participants. I'm very excited to interact with you. And this seems to be a very interactive and, a very exciting participation here. All right. So the discussion that's going on is international pathway. So I think Prayag has already helped us understand, if you are, in simple words, if you're looking for a long-term career within the country, Indian pathway. If you're looking for a global, go for a global pathway. I would like to put it that way, is what about if we offer you a kind of combination of that, and how does that help you? Okay. When I say a combination, which means you can have part of the program in Indian location, and the second part of the program, you can do it with the partner schools. Now, how does that help? Let us understand this. So that way, the first part, if you have done, for example, let me take an example here. At Vijaybhoomi University, this is a liberal professional university. Under this university, there are 6 schools. Okay. One is JAGSAW, which is Jagdish Sheth School of Management. Other than that, there is School of Design, Law, Data Science, Music, Engineering, and Technology. The students who come here, they study some of the courses across the schools, because what we believe in a kind of holistic personality, and not just making a manager per se, or just an engineer per se, or a lawyer per se. What we want you to become is a holistic personality, because in real life situations do not come in bucket like, it's a law problem or it's a management problem. The problem is a problem. You have to put different hats, you have to think differently, and that is where the concept of liberal education works well. So that is one part of it. Coming back to the question, so when you do first part of the program at Vijaybhoomi University, and then you go for the second part to the international partners, that gives you a local context, Indian context to understand things. And then when you go to the partner school, you also understand that particular country's exposure, you get to see how the world works and how the internships, and you get to make the career opportunities in that location. So this combination of the Indian plus international pathway is called as program with international pathway. Okay. So for us, it is a 4-year undergraduate program, where you can do first year, 2 years at Vijaybhoomi University, and the remaining 2 years you can go to any of the partner school that you choose. It could be State University of New York, it could be KEDGE Business School, which Prayag is representing, it could be University of Texas, it could be Rutgers Business School, it could be HSLU Switzerland, and there's a long list of it. With each of the partner schools, we have very, very carefully selected and partnered with them. Okay. And all these universities with whom we have partnered, they are very, very reputed globally, so that when our students go there, they have wonderful, exciting career opportunities lined up after that. I also want to mention here, when you choose a particular pathway, it could be KEDGE pathway or a SUNY pathway, or you go to University of Texas. With each of them, we have partnered in a particular domain, which is their niche area. Okay, so for example, with KEDGE Business School, other than marketing and finance and supply chain, which he mentioned, they have wonderful niche areas like sports management, luxury management, excellence in wine, and industry 4.0, innovation and entrepreneurship. The list is long, and they keep innovating and adding new things. So when we partner, we really look for, what is the niche area of our partner school. For example, Rutgers Business School is known for supply chain. HSLU Switzerland is known for tourism. Okay. State University of New York is known for cybersecurity, digital forensic. What I'm trying to tell you is very, very carefully, and thoughtfully, all these pathways have been designed. Objective is our students, when they tread, they have multiple options. They can choose wherever their interest lies. So to sum it up, yes, pathway program means part of it you can do in the Indian domain and the remaining part of you can do with the partner schools. You can even go for an integrated program, which means 4 years you spend with us and the 5th year you can directly go for masters to any of the partner schools. So there are exciting options, and you can choose what you want to rather than a very carved path that we have. So it's a liberal university and we are actually liberal in all the sense. So you decide, it's like a platter. So you decide what you want to study, where you want to go, you decide and you let us know and you charter your path. Soumya.
Very, very interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Shalini. So it's like I have a food platter where I can choose what I want to eat. Similarly, if I'm going to Vijaybhoomi University, it is giving in the flexibility, like a liberal education curriculum, where I have the option of choosing my pathway. That do I want 2 years in India, 2 years with partner universities, and even I have a choice of choosing which are the partner universities that I would want to pick up from, or either like an integrated program wherein we have bachelor's plus 1 year of master's abroad as well. I think it's very interesting. So students, the idea is that sometimes we have in mind that we'll have to choose between an Indian versus an overseas university, but that's not the case. It is like Vijaybhoomi University, and the university is in India. It's there. The campus is in India itself, but you're getting a global exposure while studying in India as well. So it's actually getting best of both worlds, so to say, if we can put it that way, that you're getting the exposure of both the cultures together at the same time in the same degree as well. So Dr. Shalini, when we talk about course here, like if I just ask as a student, if I'm doing a BBA or a BMS, a bachelor's degree from a very conventional university, versus if I do a BBA, this kind of combination from Vijaybhoomi University partnering with KEDGE Business School. So what's the difference in course or curriculum like? Can you just elaborate a bit more on that?
So let's understand this at 3 levels. Okay. 1, a pure degree, 3 or 4 year undergrad degree from a conventional school or college. That's one part of thing. Second is you're doing for a liberal university track, and third is in liberal university international pathway. I'll explain 3 of them and then the answer will come from all of you what works best. Okay. So for example, as a student, I have enrolled for a BBA, BA, BCom, any undergrad degree from a particular college. I join, there is a linear journey, 3-4 years. I complete that, maybe engineering or BBA. I get that degree for that. Okay. You have become an engineer after that, and then you go for engineering job. So it's a standard linear path. You are studying, you get the placement or whatever, the degree gets over. This is one track. Okay. The second track, let's understand what is liberal professional university track. Here, what happens when students come, and I think most of the students here will be able to relate this. See, when there's a lot of pressure that starts coming in on the students, even after 10th, 11th, I think now even after 9th, the pressure starts coming in, whether it is science or commerce or arts. What do you want to take? So everybody, I think the whole world starts asking this, what are you going to opt for? Whether you take science, arts, commerce. Absolutely. Everybody starts asking this, medicine or engineering, this or that. Everybody starts asking. And what I have seen with my experience or with my children's experience, I think students may not have clarity. How would I know whether I will like law, because I've not even studied that? How do I know I will like data science? I don't know what would it look like to me. Okay. Keeping this in mind, let's understand a liberal professional university allows you to just enter with all the uncertainties. And I'm very, very fond of uncertainties, because when there is an uncertainty, then there are ample opportunities opening up. So I'm a big fan of uncertainties. Okay. So we let our students come in with all those uncertainties. We don't tell them to choose engineering, law, data science, or management. The first 2 years the students spend with us are called as self-discovery. What does that mean? In the first 2 years, they just study courses from different schools. It could be from management, it could be from music or a law or data science, or they can choose courses from anywhere. It is only towards the end of second year, they are supposed to take a decision. Okay, this is something I'm enjoying most, maybe management or music. So this particular domain I will make as major, and the other courses will be considered as a part of general education. So every student needs to complete 32 credits of general education. In short, we call it as Gen Ed. Okay, every student has to do that for two reasons. One, as I said, we need to have our students a kind of holistic personality. So we just don't want managers to only to study business, a musician to study only music courses. We want them to have a holistic, because we all understand, when you're working in corporate, you also need to have understanding of law. You also need to understand the data analysis part of it. You may also want to take some music courses as a passion. Why not? I'm studying business, but I can still follow my passion as music. Why should I be stopped on that? Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, all these courses from other schools come as a part of Gen Ed. And the domain which you are now most excited towards the end of second year, that you can declare your major. So what has happened is, you were not forced to choose a career without even getting exposed to it. It's actually criminal, I think, to tell a person, start studying something which he or she does not even know what it would look like. Are you with me here?
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
So this is the liberal professional track, which lets you experiment, choose, and then you make your career in that. Now, let's look at the third one, where liberal track is combined with international pathway track. Okay, so in the third track, you come in, you have all the options open, whether you want to study for all 4 years in Vijaybhoomi, you want to do first 2 years here, and you want to choose your pathway, and you still get the benefit of liberal university. So it is actually liberal. You decide, as I said, which pathway as per your interest you want to study completely. Even the students who study for all 4 years at Vijaybhoomi University, for one term, they go for exchange program to any of the partner schools. So here the journey is majorly in India, but still an exposure element of term exchange to a partner school. Of course, this cannot be compared with 1 full year or a full tenure at partner school, but yes, a full degree here with 1 term gives them a decent understanding of the cross culture. I'm asking the same question back to you. So first option was conventional, where after this you become engineer, BBA or BCom, you get that degree or placement. Second is liberal professional track. The third is liberal with international pathway. I would request my participants to write in the chat window, what do you think works better for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. So is it conventional students that works best for you, or is it liberal education, or is it liberal education with an international pathway program? So what do you think? Just type in the chat for us. So Heron is asking, are there computer science programs at Vijaybhoomi University? Yes, absolutely. And Dr. Shahi, of course, our topic is management, but if you can just explain for the participant, are there computer science programs as well?
So we have a School of Engineering and Technology. We definitely have programs on computer science. If you want, we can definitely share more details regarding that. Of course, I'm not the right fit here to talk more about that, but we'll be very happy to share the details.
Absolutely, thanks. And I think Mr. Prayag would also agree that once we're talking about management, it has become very interdisciplinary. So it's not that you're just focusing on the concepts of management. There's technology, there's data analysis, there's people perspective that comes in along with it. So I feel that Mr. Prayag would also agree that these are also the nitty-gritties that come in when we talk about management as a career.
Absolutely. 10 years back, there was no MBA in data science in India. And now we have a lot of MBAs in data science, data analytics, AI in India. And I'm not even talking about MS or MTech, I'm talking about MBA, because business today cannot probably rely only on business skills. It has to have an amalgamation with technology as well. And this is why we see a lot of engineers entering MBA programs, or people with technical backgrounds entering BBA programs. And this is precisely why Vijaybhoomi's undergrad program is essential for these students who have a different mindset. They don't want to go for conventional programs and probably want to study a generic BBA. If they go for this program, they open their minds, they have the opportunity to take up different electives, at the same time explore different career opportunities, because as Dr. Shalini mentioned, unless you really try something, you wouldn't know how that thing would turn out to be. At KEDGE in France, I would rather say France is probably the birthplace of specializations. If you look at the French business schools, if I give you a simple comparison with Indian counterparts, in India, the flagship program is MBA at most of the Indian business schools. And coming from India, I can vouch for the fact that most of the business schools, they only have an MBA or probably some specialized programs. But in France, you would see every school would have dozens of programs in management. And at KEDGE, we have around 20 management programs. And you'd be surprised to know there is no general management MBA. There is an equivalent program called Masters in Management, which we call MIM in France, which is similar to an MBA in India. But then on top of it, you have different specializations. So you have a master's in finance. In fact, in finance, we have 6 programs. Who would have thought that there are 6 different kinds of career opportunities within finance? So there is corporate finance, then there is banking and finance, there is sustainable finance, there is auditing and taxation, then you have marketing, then you have a master's in digital marketing, you have a sports program, you have a wine program. In France, you have an MBA in perfumes and cosmetics. Who would have thought that there is an MBA in perfumes and cosmetics in France? So these are the kind of career opportunities you have in France and in Europe. And this is precisely why this liberal BBA program at Vijaybhoomi University is excellent, because it opens up your mind, gives you challenges and pathways in different career tracks, which you can explore. And at the same time, when you go for international pathway, especially to KEDGE, you have the career opportunity to build your career in that specific domain in France, in Western Europe, and across the globe.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Prayag. And Dr. Shalini, if you can see the chat, there's a clear answer that there's liberal education along with international exposure coming.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Dr. Shalini, I see a lot of Q&As where students are, discussing about their academic profile. So if we come a little deeper, so once we've discussed in the course, if you can elaborate on first the eligibility criteria, that is there any subject that you take up at the university which is compulsory, and what's the application process like? Like, is there an entrance? Do you consider academics, or do you have any personal interview rounds? If you could just elaborate on both of them.
Sure. So first thing is, we do not restrict the students that if you have not studied maths, you can't come for engineering. If you're not done maths, you can't come for data science. When we are inviting you, it is our responsibility to cover the foundation courses or prepare you for the advanced courses. That is very clear, simple answer to first point. Coming to the eligibility criteria now. So yes, you have to take entrance test. You can put up any of the score in case you have taken from somewhere else. It could be SAT, LSAT, IPMAT, CUET. Any of the score you have already, and if it meets our eligibility criteria, great. In case you do not have any score, then you can go for our entrance exam, which is called as Vijaybhoomi University's entrance exam, which is VUSAT. Okay, once you have appeared for this entrance exam, you have the qualifying scores. Then the next round will be admission selection process, which is an interview round with a panel of deans. So as I said, we have 6 schools. So 2 or 3 deans will be there in the panel, and the interview will be done. Once the interview is done, based on that, overall your profile, your academic record, how you overall come up in the interview, or your scores of VUSAT. So an overall performance is assessed, and then the admission is confirmed.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Shalini. And coming back to our program wherein we have 2 years in India, 2 years with partner university. So do we get a dual degree from both the universities? Is that the case?
Yes, it's a 2-degree program. The students will get 2 degree, one from Jackson, Vijaybhoomi University. The second they will get from the partner school. Let me explain. Of course, many of us would know that, but for the participants, let me explain how does 2-degree programs work. Okay. So for example, to get the degree from Jackson, there's a specific number of credit requirement to be completed, which takes like 3 or 4 years. Okay. Similarly, there will be a credit requirement from the partner school. There will be common courses also. So it doesn't make sense that you do the same thing with one school and then you do the same thing with another school. Is that clear? For example, marketing management, we will also want our students to study as a base. IT course, we also want. Basic HR course, we would also want. So there is no point the students who have done these courses here, they do the same thing there. Okay. So whenever the collaboration happens between any universities, what happens? There is an articulation happens, which means we mentioned there is a list of courses that students will do maybe in the first 2 years here, and then the partner school will accept that. Similarly, the courses that they will do there, the credits that they will earn in the partner school, we will accept them. So that ways we have accepted their credits. They have articulated. Articulated means accepting, taking the credits. Okay. The partner school has taken our credits. So the requirement of both the degrees are completed without any overlapping. Okay. That's how both the universities are able to give their degrees. So which means there will be 2 degrees. After you complete the complete program of 4 years, you get 2 degrees. Okay, so if it is an undergrad 4-year program, if you are studying, then you get 2 degrees. If it's an integrated thing, then again you get 2 degrees, but it's a 5-year program where you do first 4 years with us and 5th year you go for masters. The simple answer is yes, it's a 2-degree program wherever the collaborations are involved. Okay.
All right. So if there's a student, he or she can do a 2 years at Vijaybhoomi and 2 years at KEDGE, and then once they get the BBA, it would have both the degrees, both of Vijaybhoomi as well as KEDGE Business School, right?
Absolutely. So I also want to mention here very, very importantly for the students. See, international education is something a very broad-ended word which people consider. Prayag had initially touched on this. How should you choose the international university college? Because, going there, spending your time, energy, finances, you have to be very cautious where you are investing all of this. Okay. So it's very important to see the accreditations of the universities. Accreditation means like there are higher education bodies who attest that these universities are of the global standards. Okay, so there are 3 major bodies of such sort. One is AACSB. After this webinar, many of you can just go back, research more on that. AACSB is one. Second is EQUIS. Third is EMBA. These are 3 major reputed bodies that kind of attest the higher education institutes of the quality standards. Okay. Now, there are only 1% of the business schools across the globe who have all 3, which is AACSB, EQUIS, EMBA. KEDGE, where Prayag belongs to, has all 3, and that is why it is called as triple crown. I hope you understand how big a thing it is.
It's
triple crown. It's a very big thing. Just
right.
I'm repeating that 1% of all the business schools across the globe only have triple crown, and KEDGE is one of them. All our partners, including, of course, we are AACSB accredited. All our partners are AACSB accredited. So what I'm trying to tell you is look for the universities of that stature. Just doing international degree will not help you. Okay. Getting an international degree or 2 degree from reputed universities will ensure you a short global career pathway. Okay. So this is very important. Where you are signing up, you need to do a thorough research on that piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not just entering into a university, it's understanding that what are the rankings of the university, what kind of accreditations do they have, what's the curriculum like, as you mentioned, and if you're getting this kind of exposure, it's something that's a huge add-on. That's a huge add-on when I'm going as a student, because it's adding on to my diversity. It's adding on to my experience that once I go out from school, I'm getting a very diverse pool of students to study with, diverse peers and very different faculty exposure as well. So that's quite interesting that students, please take this into note that once we're choosing, the first step is the course that we are choosing. So at Mindler, we always, we kind of try to understand, like, the Mindler's full form is Mind, LER. So it's like learn, explore, and realize. So once you learn more and more information about courses, universities, careers that you are planning, then explore yourself deeper. And then once you realize your potential that, okay, this is something that fits best for me, then go ahead and pursue that degree in that particular university and space. Mr. Prayag, so I want to ask this question that, okay, I've done 2 years in India, I've done maybe 2 years at KEDGE. So do we have the work permits for the foreign countries? So as an Indian citizen, I'm doing a 2 years degree at KEDGE along with Vijaybhoomi as, 2 years at Vijaybhoomi in Indian and 2 years at KEDGE as a partner school. So do I get work permits also for the foreign countries?
Right. It's a valid question because most of the Indian students who would want to study abroad, they would also want to work abroad. And to work abroad, the most important thing is obviously the work permit. So when it comes to France, France, I would say, is one of the most welcoming countries for Indian students. In fact, France is the only country that offers the longest visa possible to Indian students. Now, let me simplify this. So there are multiple kinds of visa. I'll start with the student visa, because as soon as the students would be going for the third year, year 3 and 4 at KEDGE, they would be applying for a student visa. A student visa would be valid for 1 year and they can renew it. So since they are going for 2 years, they would be having 2 years of student visa. Now, during that 2 years of student visa, of course, they can study. They can do part-time work, 20 hours per week, as per the French government. They can do any kind of part-time job. They would be able to get around 800 euros, which is roughly around 60,000 rupees per month as a student. That said, all of these visas are going to be Schengen visas. That means if a student tomorrow wants to travel to Switzerland, right? Now, in France, the education system is very liberal, right? I mean, very similar to Vijaybhoomi University. You have 2 weeks of holidays in December during New Year and Christmas break. So let's say if there is a group of students who would want to go to Switzerland or Spain or maybe Germany, you don't need any other visa. You just need to take a cab or a bus or a flight and simply go there, because your visa is a Schengen visa and that allows you to travel anywhere in Schengen zone. Now, if you don't know what is Schengen, you can Google it. It is a group of 27 countries that allows visa-free travel. That's number one. Number two, as soon as you graduate, right, there are two kinds of visas. The first visa is called job seeker visa, and the second visa is called work permit. Right? Now, the job seeker visa is a visa that allows you to seek a job, right? And the work permit, as the name says, is a visa that allows you to work, right? Now, when it comes to undergrad students, there is no stay back visa, but there is work permit. What does it mean? It means, first of all, students who would be going for this integrated program or the double degree program, they would be doing an internship at KEDGE. Right? And this internship is going to be supported by KEDGE Career Services. It would be for 4 to 6 months. They can do internship anywhere in Europe and they would have visa for that. Now, either they can convert, very similar to the PPO system in India, they can convert their internship in a job or apply for a full-time job or even start a full-time job. As soon as they have a job, they get the work permit directly. Now, work permits in France are subject to salary, so it's very easy to get. It's not like US, where you have to have a lottery system, and if you're lucky only then you'll get the work permit. No, in France everybody gets the work permit if you qualify for that specific salary. It's around 39,000 euros. Right? Now let's talk about the different kinds of work permit. Now, if your salary is less than 39,000 euros, you would be getting a 1-year work permit which you can renew every year. At KEDGE, salaries are very high in terms of European wages. So you can expect 40,000 plus. So you would be getting a 4 years work permit as soon as you get a job, right? And for master's students, let's say if these students are going for integrated program, as Dr. Shalini mentioned, they can complete 4 years in India and then they go for 1-year masters. So the good thing in France, you don't have to go for a 2 years masters. You can do 1-year masters without a work experience if you have a 4-year degree. Right? Now, as soon as you complete this 1-year master's, you're also entitled for a 2 years of stay back visa, which means even if you don't have a job, well, God forbid, as Dr. Shalini mentioned, worst cases, right? Now, uncertainties. Let's say you don't have a job, there is a recession and I don't know what, you still have the visa and nobody can send you back. Number one. Number two, you have the 4 years of work permit. And number three, here's the most important visa. As I earlier mentioned, people who would want to come back to India, no country gives visas to people who return back. France will still give you a 5 years of Schengen visa if you come back to India, right? So if you're an Indian student going for an undergrad program, you have 2 years of student visa, followed by a work permit. If you're going for masters, you have 2 years of stay back visa, followed by a work permit. And if you're coming back to India for whatever reason, your family or your job in India, you still have the 5 years of business visa for entire Europe, right? So let's say if you have come back to India, tomorrow you want to go to Germany or Sweden or France, you don't need any other visa for next 5 years. So this is why I would say 5 plus 4 plus 2, altogether 11 years of visas for all Indian students who will want to study in France.
Absolutely. I think that's really nice. So if I'm doing my degree as a student, I'm also getting the work permit, I'm also getting the visa, and I can travel to so many countries during my 2 years period at France as well. So even the internship part is very interesting, that I'm working for 6 months approximately with any of the companies in France, or any of the European, I couldn't just call it. Would you agree? Like any of the European countries you can apply and work?
I'd just add to it. So at KEDGE, we have close to 300 companies that recruit our students every year. So every semester you would have a job fair, they would be coming. And if your name, although all those names are already available on the website, you just go to the program and career section. But just to give you a hint, the names of the companies would be Louis Vuitton, LinkedIn, Netflix, Procter and Gamble, Unilever, even French Army and French Air Force. And then you have, of course, Microsoft, McKinsey, Google, all these companies, they visit KEDGE for recruitment. And students would be able to apply for these jobs. Now, as you said, whether these students would be able to apply for jobs outside France as well, the answer is yes. They can still apply for jobs in Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, even UK, right? For just UK, of course, they have to apply for the work permit separately. But let's say there's a student who has got an internship in Belgium tomorrow, right? There is no need for another visa. Just go there, do your internship and come back. So this is the kind of support system European Union provides to Indian students when it comes to visas.
Absolutely. This is actually very interesting. And to answer your question, Tanika, this kind of opportunities is being offered by Vijaybhoomi University. So the degree itself becomes very highly valuable, because at the undergrad level, just after school, you're getting the kind of exposure and diversity which students may be getting at a master's or even higher level. And then after your degree also, you're getting exposure in terms of your job opportunities. During the degree, you're getting exposure when it comes to internships as well. So it's like a packaging of all kind of different experiences. There's study in India, there's studying abroad, there's internship abroad, there's travel, and then post your degree, you even have more opportunities. Even when you want to come back, as Mr. Prayag mentioned, you still have that space that you can again go back to France as well. So that's very, very interesting. Dr. Shalini, I would want your opinion here for all the students. So they are thinking of applying, they're planning their career right now. So what are some of the tips that you would like to give to them if they want to apply to these programs? What all can they do right now at the school level so they are well equipped and prepared to apply there?
Excellent. I'm sure we have very, very smart audience here. The only thought I would like to share here is just broaden your horizon. I think there were times when we were just confined to limited options. Now, I've been using this word liberal, but I really mean liberal in every sense. Think about anything, For example, there were times, or maybe there might be some families where this could be a challenge, where a student wants to study maybe music or design, but the parents, of course, out of their interest and concern, they would say, no, you should go for business or data science, because they think these are more lucrative fields. Okay. So I think, why should we choose between a profession and a passion? Why can't we combine both the things? That is where we come from. Combine that. And I always feel, I think there is a major part of our life we spend in our workplace. Okay. It is very, very important to do something that we really love. It comes from the heart. And I think that something we do from the heart, then there are no boundaries what we can do in Excel. Okay. If music excites you, if design, photography, law, business, whatever excites you, just go for it. Coming back to the question, what you should do, follow your heart. Try to understand what interests you. Simple way people at this stage take is, oh, my child is getting good marks in maths, he should do this. Science is doing well, let's go for that. Bio, okay, medicine. These are I would not call them as a very short way to understand. You may score well, but that doesn't always mean that you would be, that's your heart calling, not necessary. So just explore where your interests are. And these days, there are such interesting, exciting opportunities. Prayag talked about the wine thing, the sports, the industry, the sports, luxury management. I mean, there are such exciting times and exciting things. And India, if you have the option to go through these paths, why not? And that too at a very, very affordable pricing. I want to mention here, many of us have aspiration to go abroad and study there, but for some reasons, of course, not everybody can afford that. Okay, so this was one of the major thought process when we were collaborating with international universities, that the objective is we want to bring the quality education in India at the best possible pricing. Okay, and that is why with all our partners, and we are thankful to all the partners that they have been very, very generous in offering scholarships to the meritorious students, because of which the overall pricing has come down to very, very economical. Okay, believe me, I think after this we can even share more details, but you would really see it is in terms of international pricing, this comes out to be the affordable and the most lucrative option. Try it out, go for it. I'm sure you will love the whole journey, the experience, and the pathways.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Shalini. Mr. Prayag, any last thoughts, any tips that you would like to give to the students here?
Yeah, so I think Dr. Shalini already clearly mentioned regarding the suggestions and, word of inspiration for all the students, what they should do. I just had a couple of points which I missed. Something I think somebody asked regarding entrepreneurship as well in the questions. So I just wanted to add, at KEDGE, you have a huge incubator, in fact, one of the largest incubators in France. So when you come for this dual degree program, you would also have ability and the opportunity to create your own company within KEDGE, right? Now, you can get your company registered in France. If you have a great idea, you can also get funded on campus. In past 9 years, 50 million euros, close to 400 crores have been granted to KEDGE students in funding alone. And government of France is going to offer you 4 years of passport talent visa. That's called passport talent visa. This is for 4 years. So if you want to create your company, you can also do that. Secondly, French government subsidizes higher education and accommodation as well. Dr. Shalini was talking about cost, just adding to it. When you study abroad at most of the countries, so just to give you a comparison, in US, UK, if you're living in major cities, it's going to cost you around 10 lakhs plus, only in cost of living. In France, it could be 3 to 4 lakhs. Why? Sometimes it's even more affordable than living in south of Bombay or south of Delhi. Why? Because French government subsidizes accommodation and pays you around 35% of your rent every month in your bank account. So let's say if you're living in France tomorrow, you would have a French bank account, you'd be getting paid in your bank account close to 15,000 rupees every month by the French government. So just wanted to share these stats regarding suggestions. As Dr. Shalini mentioned, just be open, explore all possible career opportunities. You should never regret after doing a degree that I shouldn't have done this degree, right? So this is time for you to explore, as you mentioned, learn, explore, and research, right? So my suggestion to all of you would be just be open, explore as many career options as possible, speak to your family, speak to your friends, speak to your relatives, mostly speak to your counselors as well, and then make the right decision, right? Investing in choosing the right decision is more important. And then, of course, when you go to Vijaybhoomi University, you would have an excellent time there, and we'd be very happy to welcome you at KEDGE in 2 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Prayag. And as Dr. Shalini mentioned very interestingly, I love that thought that I like music or I like design, but then sometimes we tend to restrict ourselves in terms of our subjects, marks, when it comes to career. And we try to think in terms of which is lucrative, which is going to give me the best money, so to say. That kind of thought also comes in our mind. But the idea with Vijaybhoomi University is the kind of flexibility we have. We're not choosing between our passion and what we are planning in terms of our career choices. We are doing both together as well. So you can pick up maybe music with management as well. That can be very interesting. Design plus management together. If someone is very much highly into coding, so coding plus management together can be a very interesting curriculum to build and explore those 4 years at the university level. So students, thank you so much for joining in. Just to end the conversation with careers and management. Thank you so much, Dr. Shalini. Thank you so much, Mr. Prayag, for joining in. It was a very, very informative session for all of us. We've got to know so much about management and about specifically about the university and the very interesting international pathway programs that they're offering, which I'm sure it will be very interesting for all the students here who've joined us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So students, if you have any questions related to careers, courses, if you feel that you need help, we have our career coaches. Just email us at hello@mindler.com. Just email us at hello@mindler.com and we will help you at each step when it comes to your career choices. And of course, I would say keeping Vijaybhoomi University, where if you're planning for management, should be one of your top choices there. So do apply and just reach out to us, email us at hello@mindler.com or call us on our website and we will help you at each and every step when it comes to your career choices. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.